Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program Fuckers. And today I'd like to talk about ending credit card addiction. That's right, fuckers! Ending credit card addiction. And I gotta tell you, just like any other addiction, credit card addiction is something that you need to manage properly. And I myself, I've taken the big steps to firstly, step one in solving credit card addiction, you need to admit you've got a problem. Step two is you need to take steps to remedy the situation. Now, I got to tell you the truth, fuckers. With my credit card addiction, I bought a lot of products on the secondary market which are highly collectible. So, I've decided to sell off some pieces. I'm not going to kill my collection. I'm not going to sell absolutely everything off. No. But I am going to selectively sell off some pieces. And that's what I've done. That's what I've done, fuckers. I'm addressing the problem. And what I've done is I've sold off quite a few pieces. And when you're battling credit card addiction, the most important thing is if you pay out a card, you need to make sure you cancel that line of credit. Because there's nothing worse than paying a card out, selling an asset, a really good asset, paying a card out, and then buying a second-rate asset with that money on the rebound. So, I gotta tell you, fuckers, I've got to tell you, you really do need to take some important steps in your life there to address this problem. And in my case of the matter, what I've done is I've done a number of things. And I gotta tell you, fuckers, battling credit card addiction, it can be done. It certainly can be done. And in my case there, I firstly admitted I've got a problem. I've devised a plan to reduce some of the debt, and I'm actively pursuing it. And look, I've had a few slips. Like, for example, I was selling a few things off, and a friend of mine offered me some Don Bradman autographed cricket bats, and I had to stop and say, hang on a minute, Archie, don't sell good stuff off and then put that money into second-rate investments. So I've had to pull myself up a few times, and that's okay. You can have a few relapses. I've also bought a painting from the ex-wife. This was a painting I bought many years ago, and I just wanted it back in my I liked the painting and I wanted it back, so I bought it back. So that's okay, but you got to be careful, Archie. You've got to watch yourself and make sure it doesn't get out of hand, and it's all in moderation. So I've really sought to reduce the cards, and what I've done is, okay, I'll give you some examples. I've had money come in, I've sold some pieces off, I've paid out some cards, and I have immediately cancelled them. That's right, fuckers. I've rung up the institution, said, I no longer want this credit card now, please cancel it. And I've done that with my wife's MasterCard. I paid out $4,900. Basically, I sold my annual calendar for $25,000. Yes, I bought a grand piano, but that's something that I'd wanted for a long time for my wife as a hobby for her to pursue. So, and it's a luxury item for the channel. You know, it's just a classy thing to have. So, that's a long-term goal. I'm not saying you don't want Tony Abbott austerity. No, you want to do it you want to do it sensibly. Because if you make it too nasty, you're going to slip, okay? You're going to go back to credit card addiction, because if you make it so fucking awful, it's not going to feel nice. So what I've done is, I'll tell you this now. Sold the annual calendar, 25 grand. Okay? I immediately paid out my wife's MasterCard, that was 4.9. I paid out my Bank West card, 3.5. Both those cards, I rang the institution up and said, cancel the fucker. And I said to them, they said to me, keep it for an emergency. Maybe I said, fuck it, I don't need a bank to give me second-rate financial advice. The next thing I did was, okay, we bought a piano, but I didn't finance the piano, I paid cash for it. It's a cash purchase, no loan on that piano, it's fully paid out. And then I put some money back into my Platinum NAB card, but unfortunately the Fiji trip that's pushed it back up again. So I'm taking steps to combat that. But I also had a little bit of money this week came in from selling the Speedmaster and the Amiga Oyster Perpetual. John Suckerhorn sent me the first payment. I reduced it off my my Westpac. And I rang Westpac up, albeit the next day, and got them to reduce the limit. So the limit's gone from 6,000. I've reduced the limit to 4,700. So I can't go back. They said if you want that credit back again, you're going to have to reapply. That suits me to a T, because I'm a credit card addict, and if I left it there in the card, I don't trust myself, okay? I don't trust myself. I've got to be so careful there, because I know I'm a recovering addict. And what the other thing I've done is that I've stopped surfing the net for the next purchase. That's trouble. I don't want to see what Brisbane Vintage Watches, what new stuff they've got, or what bargains, or I try and limit my surfing whilst I'm bored. You know, just be careful, Archie. Don't do that, because it's so easy to fall in love with something and before you know it, you've put it on a credit card. And what I'm doing is I'm actively reducing the balances and reducing the credit limit. And I tell you this now, fuckers. I tell you this now. There were 7 credit cards that me and the missus had. And I can tell you this now, fuckers. We are working on that problem. And I got to tell you this now. Reducing credit card debt is a wonderful thing to do. And I'm just making sure that I'm reducing the debt, cancelling the credit lines, so that when I have a slip, the credit isn't there to put me into trouble. So I'm cancelling the credit. How many credit cards do I think I really need at the end of the day? Well, my goal is to have one credit card with a decent limit. And, you know, I think $10,000 limit on one card, maybe, you know, that's the sort of the long-term goal. And I'm already starting to maybe say, well, hang on a minute. Once I've done all this good stuff, don't you think I deserve a Rolex Day-Date President as a reward for all the sacrifice? So I already feel that I'm starting to slip a bit, but I'm making sure I'm cancelling the credit cards, and I don't want to do anything silly. I'm Archie Luxury, reporting on the evils of credit card addiction.